All right, now we are officially recording. Thank you guys so much for being here for the Full Spectrum Money Manifestation Masterclass. This will be about 60 minutes, so you may want to have a notebook handy. We're going to go through a lot of different things in this masterclass to help you let go of some of the mistakes people are making with manifestation, particularly with money manifestation, because when you know their mistakes are there, then we can start moving forward and let go of those mistakes. And at the end, we're also going to do an activation. So that's what we have planned for today. And I'm just going to make sure I don't have anyone waiting in the waiting room right now before we go ahead and get started. So if at any point you have questions throughout the program or throughout today's masterclass, go ahead and put them in the chat and I will get through them at some point in time, either as soon as I see them or when it is appropriate, because so often people have questions that I'm about to cover. So if you have questions, please put them in the chat and we'll get to them. So welcome to the masterclass. We are going to start right now to get started. And as you join us, if you are coming in now or are already here, just let me know where you are watching from and how long you have been practicing manifestation. So for those of you here now, just put in the chat, how long have you been intentionally practicing manifestation? So, for those of you that are new to my world, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Melissa Conkling. I am a spiritual hypnotist and manifestation mentor. I got certified as a hypnotist in 2019 and then in 2020 did my NLP practitioner and life coach certification all through the ICBCH, which is the International Certification Board for Coaches and Hypnotists. And I was in my first full year as a hypnotist in 2020. I was recognized as one of the 10 best hypnotists in Connecticut by Natural Nutmeg magazine, which is it's their Reader's Choice Award. It's a holistic health magazine here in Connecticut. I am also the author of the Creative Alchemist Manifestation Method, which is half book, half journal, all about my personal manifestation method and exactly how it works and why it works on a subconscious level. And I have also helped hundreds of clients manifest their goals with the help of hypnosis, everything from achieving health results, money results, finding new jobs, all kinds of things. Someone who is just finishing up my most recent 30-day program, the last day of it was today, actually manifested her fiance. She did the program with me last March, and about a week into this one, she ended up getting engaged, and that was one of her goals in the previous one, so that was super exciting. And congratulations to her. So I have helped people manifest all sorts of awesome things, not only money. On a more personal level, I love cats. Mine is bouncing around here somewhere and will most likely try to get on my keyboard at some point in time during today's masterclass. And I also love the beach. I live about 10 minutes away from it, so I get to go there as often as I can when the weather cooperates, because I am in Connecticut and right now it's 12 degrees outside. I'm also a writer working on my next book. I have a master's degree in theater with a focus on creative development and new play work. And I am into all sorts of spiritual woo-woo stuff, which I often bring into my manifestation and my hypnosis business as well. So that is a little bit about me. So here's what to expect from today's masterclass. We're going to go over the 5 common money manifestation mistakes that people are making, and we're going to dive into the full spectrum manifestation framework, which is what I have created on my own with how to not just manifest on the surface level, but actually make lasting manifestation and to make it effortless, easy, and aligned with what you truly desire in your life. And then we're going to do a quick activation to start moving you towards your goals right away. This because I feel like so often with manifestation, people focus on the theory, on learning the information, and manifestation happens when you take action on the practices right away, not just learn about them. So we're going to put it into action today before we're even done with today's call. I will also be sharing about my new 3-month program that's beginning in mid-February. It is called Aligned Abundance. I am going to drop the link for that in the chat. So if you want to check it out At any point in time, it is there for you. And we're going to go ahead and get started. And what I want to start with is really getting ourselves grounded, present in the moment, because so often when we're focused on manifestation and spiritual stuff, we end up so much in our heads, and manifestation happens through our body. So let's go ahead and take a few moments just to get grounded and set your intention for the masterclass. So, assuming that you are not driving or doing anything that requires your conscious attention, if you are coming back or just skip this little part right now, as long as it's safe for you, just go ahead and gently close your eyes and begin slowing down your breath, allowing yourself to breathe a bit more deeply, a bit more slowly, allowing yourself to relax with each and every exhale, breathing all the way in and all the way out, focusing only on the sound of my voice. And now, with the creative part of your mind, just bring all of your attention and all of your awareness to the root of your spine. And imagine that there, from the root of your spine, an actual root, as in tree roots, plant roots, something, begins to spread down deep into the earth, spreading not only down, but also out through the ground beneath you. And as these roots spread further and deeper, you notice how it makes you feel safe, secure, and grounded in your body. And as a tree receives its nourishment from the ground, you also allow yourself to take in any energy, any nourishment, anything you require through the root of your spine, filling your entire being. And now, let go of anything that you don't require right now through your next breath, or sending it out through the bottom of the roots. And now, when you are finished, bring yourself back to your full conscious awareness and bring in your intention for today. What is one thing you would like to gain from today's masterclass? And just go ahead and put that word in the chat for your intention. And while you do that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey with manifestation. And I also want to hear from you. If you had absolutely no doubts that you could do it, how much money would you like to manifest within the next 3 months? And also, with your intention, share that in the chat as well. And I will share a little bit about my journey. So I began practicing manifestation like a lot of people when all of a sudden in 2007, The Secret came out. For me, it was, I remember it so clearly. My roommate at the time, I got home from work and she was like, there's a special show on the Oprah Winfrey Show tonight. You're gonna love this, because she knew I was into all of this spiritual stuff. And so I sit down and watch it with her. And it's all about Rhonda Byrne's book and movie, The Secret. It was the first time I had ever heard of manifestation. I believe it was the first time a lot of people had ever heard of manifestation. And I was absolutely intrigued in two ways, both like, wow, this seems like such an amazing concept. And also, how have I never heard of it before? But at the same time, I also felt like something was a little incomplete. So I kept learning more and more about it. That is when I also discovered Abraham Hicks, which is actually a lot of what The Secret is based on. Abraham Hicks is, if you are not familiar with it, a channeled book, channeled teachings. They are channeled through a collective, spiritual collective called Abraham, through Esther Hicks, and tons about manifestation, some amazing practices. Their book, Ask and It Is Given, is one of my favorites, and I love the practices in that. I definitely recommend it if you are new and aren't familiar with it yet. And For years, I was trying every technique that I could get my hands on, and I would have little results, but never anything big, never anything with money. And the results would kind of like come and go. And it was kind of like, what's the missing piece here? And for me, when I became a hypnotist, one of the very first things I ever did hypnosis for personally, like as a client, was for manifestation. And I started seeing my results shifting. And I was like, okay, what's the deal though? Like, how is this working? Because while I knew it was working, I also like to understand the how. But no one was actually explaining that to me in a way that made sense. So I become a hypnotist. My manifestation is starting to pick up, especially within my business. My business took off right away, faster than I ever expected. In 2021, I actually left my full-time job to do hypnosis full-time. And as I did that, all of a sudden, my nervous system and fear kind of took over. So my manifestation had been so powerful as I like was doing hypnosis on the side. My business was going great. I was making more money in my business than my full-time job. And then all of a sudden, this fear took over. All of this resistance took over. And I got to the point in 2022 where I was absolutely doing what Gabrielle Bernstein refers to as manic manifesting, where you are trying all of the practices, trying to do as much manifestation as you can, and almost out of a sense of fear and desperation that if you don't do everything right and don't do all of the practices you can possibly get your hands on, it's not going to work right. And it was kind of out of control. And that's when I actually had reread her book that came out in 2019, The Super Attractor. And I remember that part about manic manifesting and being like, oh my God, that's what I'm doing right now. And as I realized that, I was like, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the practices that I like the most and that feel good to me and create my own manifestation practice that fits me rather than trying to do everything. Because there are so many different manifestation techniques in the world, and everyone who's teaching them, they work for that person because what's going to work for every individual is going to be different. The fact is, all of the manifestation techniques work. It's all about your subconscious programming and choosing the ones that align with you the most. For example, like there are several manifestation techniques that are all about like rewriting your goals over and over and over again. And I did one of those one time, and to me, it felt like a punishment when you are coming at your manifestation practice as though it feels like a punishment, that's the energy you're bringing into it. So anyway, this is when I finally realized like I need to do a program, a manifestation practice that actually feels good for me and works for me, and I'm not trying to do everything perfect, but I'm making it around myself. And when I did that, after a few weeks, I kind of got ahead of myself with the slides there. I landed a new job because as I was focused on all of this manic manifesting, all of the sudden my business that had been going so great kind of dried up. So I decided to go back to full-time work because I needed to regulate my nervous system and feel safe again with money. So I landed a new job that paid more, was less demanding and less stressful, and also allowed me to grow my business on the side. I also began dating my soulmate. I wrote my first book in less than 10 days. Uh, I manifested all of the money that I needed to publish that book. That book became a number one new release and bestseller in several categories very, very quickly. And then I also manifested my first 10K month. All of this happened so, so quickly. Oh, and I also moved into my now apartment, which was exactly what I was looking for at the time. And I didn't think I would be able to find it. And here I am sitting in it right now. And it all happened so effortlessly. And that's when I knew I was on to something that I had never been able to harness before within manifestation. Hold on just a second. Someone's audio came on. Let me mute everybody. Okay. So as I was doing this, So I was chasing all of these different strategies, doing all of this mindset work, trying to do all of these high vibe routines. None of it quite clicked, and it always felt like something was missing, and that's because something was missing. This transformation that we're talking about doesn't happen from doing more practices. It doesn't happen from doing more strategy. It doesn't happen from forcing. It comes from aligning your subconscious energy or your subconscious mind, your energy, and your identity with the version of you who naturally receives more, whether it's more love, more money, whatever it is, becoming that version of you who receives that. And when I began weaving together the subconscious programming that I was doing within hypnosis, my intuitive uh, growth and also manifestation practices, everything began to shift. My clarity, my confidence, and my results, and the way abundance started showing up with ease, all just shifted in a way that it never had before. And that's because there's this huge gap. Most manifestation practices focus on one of two things or two things: the mindset work or hustling. They're actually strategy courses in disguise. I have actually done several programs where I signed up for a manifestation program and it turned out to be a business program in disguise. That's not quite what manifestation is, but we're going to get to that in a few minutes. So, the real truth is that to manifest your desires, whether it's money or anything else, your subconscious mind and your nervous system need to be aligned with those goals. Now, I say your subconscious mind and your nervous system. The fact is, your nervous system is run by your subconscious mind, so they're very, very closely tied together. So that is why I put both of those in there because activating and relaxing and having your nervous system feel safe with receiving is key to manifestation. And it also comes through that subconscious programming. So let's talk now about the five biggest money manifestation mistakes. Number one, as we were just talking about the subconscious mind, the biggest mistake people make, I believe, is trying to manifest with only your conscious mind. And the fact is, most mindset work is focused on conscious mindset. It's not focused on your subconscious mind. It's focused on the doing, on the practices, on the things that you're actively doing intentionally. And that is all conscious mind level. But the fact is, this mindset work isn't enough on its own. Affirmations, repeating, whether it's written or verbal, those affirmations, you can say them as much as you want, but it will not override your subconscious programming as quickly as something like hypnosis will. Because hypnosis gets to the root of your subconscious mind so much faster. Yes, your subconscious mind does learn through repetition, but it takes much, much longer. And if you are using affirmations or using intentions that are making your subconscious mind be like, yeah, but that's not true yet, you're running into a brick wall. It's kind of like so often people use manifestations such as, I am wealthy, as though they've already achieved their goal. And this is great on one level. However, when you're doing it consciously, you're always going to hit that barrier inside your mind that it's called the critical faculty, that part of you that's like, no, that's not true. Stop saying that it's not true, that it's going to block it from ever getting into your subconscious mind. In hypnosis, we bypass that gatekeeper. So when we use affirmations, when we reprogram your subconscious mind, it actually sticks. And another thing with focusing only on your conscious mind and the doing part of you is that willpower has its limits. Willpower is kind of like a muscle. It gets tired after a while. And that's why you can be really focused on a strategy and then all of a sudden it fades. Like you see those people that like go to the gym every day. And I used to be one of these people. And people used to say to me, Melissa, I wish I had your willpower. And the thing is, for me, it was never about willpower. It did not take me willpower to go to the gym and work out every day because I enjoy working out. So, when you are enjoying what you're doing within your manifestation practice, you don't have to rely on willpower for that either. Now, mistake number two, focusing mainly on the dollar amount that you want to manifest. Now, everyone is out there trying to manifest 10K months or $100,000 months or $1 million years, whatever it may be. And they're so focused on the dollar amount that they're missing one huge thing. And this is a very important factor. You don't manifest the money itself. You manifest what that money is going to afford you, what you're going to do with the money, how you will feel when you have that money, how your life is going to be different. So when you focus on the feeling and the outcome of the money that you desire in your life, you begin to attract the money because it's like the means to the end, but you need to know what that end goal actually feels like. It's not the money. Money is just a way to get there. It's a method, it's an energy exchange. It's not the actual goal itself. So when you focus only on the money, the underlying feelings of scarcity or unworthiness or guilt or shame that you have around money are still there. So we need to really get to that root level of letting go of that resistance, but also knowing that how you want to feel when you have this money doesn't change who you are. So Uh, so when you focus only on the money, those underlying feelings still remain, so you don't attract the money, or if you do, it doesn't last. It ends up kind of like running through your fingers faster than you ever imagined it could. And when you actually manifest in alignment with what you truly desire and how you want to feel, you might actually find that your goals are slightly different and it makes them easier to manifest. This is why manifesting in alignment with your soul and what is best for you on a soul purpose level is so, so important because you may be trying to manifest 10K months, but you might need something different or actually want something different to actually be living the life that you're meant to be living. Now, mistake number three, not addressing the subconscious resistance. Now, if you are doing all of the things within manifestation and not seeing the results you hoped for, subconscious resistance is almost always the reason you haven't manifested it yet. And that's the subconscious resistance shows up in many ways, including old beliefs that aren't in alignment with your goals, identity blocks that aren't in alignment with those goals, negative feelings or beliefs about money, like the guilt or shame, or that more money brings more problems, all of these things, and so many other hidden patterns in your life that are still running the show that show up as like self-sabotage or avoidance, whatever it may be. Now, mistake number four. This is an important one, especially when we are talking about manifesting money. One of the biggest mistakes people make is focusing on manifesting in only one area of your life. Now, this is definitely something I used to do with focusing so much on manifesting only in my business. And as I was focused so much on growing my business, other things in my life were kind of being forgotten. Like relationships, friendships, all that kind of stuff was kind of forgotten, pushed away, put off, put on the back burner for another day, pretty much. And my life began to feel very lopsided because it was. And when you feel that, like it almost feels like, oh, but I should be manifesting something different, or I want to be focused on that, or I'll only focus on business, then next year I'll focus on relationships. You're always going to feel like you're missing something, and it's because you actually are. And manifestation actually works best when your whole life is aligned and you're manifesting in all aspects of your life. So you're growing as a whole, not only in one area. And mistake number five is trying to figure it all out on your own. Now, most manifestation practices are done alone, so they can become a little isolating. And this often leads to people feeling like they have to figure it all out on their own, and it leads to them feeling lonely and also leads to there not being any real accountability. And that's when it's easy to put off your manifestation practice for a day or a week or a month. And I cannot tell you how many manifestation programs or books or other things I've done where people are like, here's what you're supposed to do, now do it, and that's it. They don't tell you why or how it works or how to adjust it for yourself. And then there's also no support. So you end up kind of turning to the instructions, trying to just follow what they did step by step instead of learning to trust your intuition, instead of trusting yourself and making the adjustments you need to take any practice and make it work for you. And the fact is that if you knew what you were doing wrong, you would have already changed it. And I get it. I went through so much of the same trial and error in my own journey with manifestation, all trying to figure it out. And that's how I got here. And it's also why I want to give you the shortcut. And it's part of why I created Aligned Abundance to give you not just the tools and the support, but also the community so you're not isolated in the process. So, now, why do these mistakes happen? As I said, like if you knew the answer, you probably wouldn't be doing them, right? So often people think they're doing the right thing because that's what they've been taught. And so often, like just trying method after method, all of these random methods, rather than focusing on what truly feels aligned for us, kind of pulls us away from what we should be focusing on. And it's fair because everyone is out there saying, this is the one secret to manifestation. And like when you see 10 people saying they've got the one secret, you want to do the 10 different things because one of them's got to work, right? Or do they all work and you have to do all of them? That's what I personally was doing with the manic manifesting. So, trying these random methods can pulls us away from choosing the ones that actually work for us. And it ends up relying on force instead of alignment, just the doing of all of the practices as though the practices are the manifestation itself. And also focusing on the output, focusing on what they're doing within their practice instead of actually internalizing it and taking action based on the guidance we're getting on an intuition level. And another one big mistake that I think a lot of people are making is setting their goals from an ego or fear-based place. Setting their goals based on what they think they're supposed to do. Setting those goals based on, well, out of a fear base, like, well, this is what I need to get by, so that's what I'm going to try to manifest, rather than trying to manifest what they truly desire. This happens so often, and I think we've all caught ourselves in there, like trying to manifest something and then been like, wait, is that even what I really want, or is that just what I think I'm supposed to want? That happens so often, and it's from not really learning to trust yourself and get into alignment with your purpose and your true core soul level desires before you start manifesting. And also not knowing how the subconscious mind plays into everything and having that full spectrum uh, manifestation education. Oh, someone else is joining us now. So, what is full spectrum manifestation? So, as I mentioned earlier, this is the method that I have created. It's a six-step framework of manifestation through six pillars. And those pillars are clarity, your energy, your subconscious programming, releasing resistance, action. Yes, there is action involved, and integration, bringing it all together so you can actually bring things into your life. And we work on all of these in aligned abundance. So, the first pillar, conscious clarity. This conscious clarity is all about what do you truly want and why do you want it? Now, it seems sort of obvious that you need to know what you want to manifest so you can manifest it, right? But the truth is, and I can't tell you how many manifestation books I have on these bookshelves behind me. And one day, probably about a year and a half ago, all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute. All of these manifestation books are talking about like how to manifest, but not one of them is actually going over how to choose what it is you're trying to manifest. And that's how people end up with those ego-driven goals instead of the soul-driven goals. So that is one of the things that I focus on, getting in touch with those soul desires instead of ego desires, getting really specific so you can move forward in the right direction. And one of the biggest ways, write this down now, one of the biggest ways to start getting this clarity is asking yourself, not what do I want, but ask yourself, how do I want to feel in my life? Start focusing on the how you want to feel. And then also when you are focusing on a goal, whether it's like the 15K months or million years, whatever it may be, ask yourself, what will this afford me? Like what will a 10K month afford you that the 5K month doesn't? What's the difference there? How does your life change? Really get clear on this because you manifest from these feelings, not just the money itself. So focus on how you want to feel in your life and what will this money afford me? And that is how you start getting the conscious clarity of where you want your life to go. Pillar two, energetic alignment and embodiment. As I just said, we manifest from those emotions of how we want to feel. And that's what today's activation at the end of this course is going to be about. So it's all about the emotion and the frequency. It's all about gratitude, presence, and embodying those feelings as though you are experiencing them now. Not necessarily acting as if, but embodying the emotions. I know in The Secret, there's like one part that she talks about how she wanted to embody having more money, so she just started handing out $100 bills to people. Now, we don't want to put ourselves into debt because that deregulates our nervous system and kind of can throw manifestation off a ton. But you can still act as like feel the way you want to feel when you've reached your goals without actually spending the money. And that is one of the most important things to activate that emotion inside your mind and body. You don't have to take the physical action of spending the money until you actually have it. That is a very important thing to keep you regulated. And that's why embodiment practices, rather than just taking those actions as though you have all the money in the world, can be so much more powerful. And also, we want to align your inner state, those feelings that you're having, with your outer desires. How's it going to feel when you reach those goals? That is what pillar two is all about. Pillar three is that subconscious reprogramming. Now, I've mentioned hypnosis a couple times. Quick little rundown on this. So we have two parts of our mind, our conscious and our subconscious mind. Our conscious is our active doing part of our mind. It's pretty much how we get stuff done. Then we have our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind is pretty much everything else. So our conscious mind is about 5 to 10% of our mind power. The rest is all subconscious. That's our intuition, our emotions, our imagination. It runs our nervous system. It uh, is all about our beliefs, our habits. It basically runs everything behind the scenes that informs what we're doing consciously. But in so much of manifestation, and everything else we do, quite frankly, we're only focused on the conscious mind. So when we start bringing in the subconscious part of our mind and reprogramming it to align with our goals, we start actually behaving and believing and feeling in the way that's helpful to actually become the version of us that already has these goals. And that's why shifting this on a subconscious level, not just doing the conscious work, is so much more powerful because we have that conscious doing part of our mind. We have the rest of our mind. And then we have that gatekeeper in the middle. And in hypnosis, our conscious mind goes to the background, our subconscious mind comes forward, and we're able to retrain it because that gatekeeper goes away with the conscious mind. So we slip through and rewire the beliefs underneath the surface that help us get in alignment and take aligned action with the desire that we truly want. And pillar four, releasing that resistance, releasing fear. And this is also a big part of subconscious reprogramming. We get rid of the fear and the doubt and the old identities, that idea that money is dangerous, money is greedy, that we shouldn't look for money, that it's better to give than receive, all of these things. Getting rid of letting our ego, and not talking about like feeling conceited ego. I mean the fear-based, keeping us safe, stuck where we are right now, part of us ego. And instead relying on our higher self, which is pretty much our personal bridge to the universe. It speaks to us through our intuition and it helps to really get us in line with what's best for us because our higher self always knows what's best for us. So when we start listening to that instead of our ego, we start manifesting what we truly desire in the way that's best for us, not just because someone else said it. We also do some energetic clearing and getting rid of old emotional blocks that may be there and letting go of other things like perfectionism, self-sabotage, releasing expectations of things. So often we expect to manifest certain things in a certain way, and it might come in a different way. And when we let go of those expectations, we start to notice other opportunities to receive what it is we desire. Pillar five, receiving and inspired action. One of the things that I love to focus on is the skill of receiving, actively, intentionally practicing the art of receiving. And it's so easy, and it's something that not enough people pay attention to. Now, you've heard a lot about receiving blocks, I'm sure. One of the biggest receiving blocks is something as simple as receiving a compliment, receiving a small favor, even receiving breath. So often we talk about like taking a deep breath. You take a deep breath and you hold it in as though you're not going to have air again. But when you just receive air into your lungs, it feels different. It flows, it feels more natural. So, one of the practices I love people to start doing right away as you practice receiving is just start receiving breath, allowing it to come in, knowing that there's plenty for you. The air is still going to be there. And also receiving compliments, receiving small favors, not feeling like you automatically have to give another compliment in return or, brushing things off like, oh no, no problem, no worries. Like, just say thank you and receive it. As you start receiving little things, you start receiving bigger things because you get better and better and better at receiving. And once the universe knows that you are good at receiving, it starts sending you more things. It's amazing. And also, along with receiving, is taking inspired action. Now, very often, and tell me if you have heard this one before within manifestation, sometimes people tell you that you just set your intention and then leave it up to the universe. And almost as though if you actually do anything, it's showing that you don't trust the universe to deliver it. However, when you set that intention, sometimes what the universe does is it sends you a message through your intuition to take a certain action. And taking that action is essential so you can receive your desire. But because we're told that we're supposed to just leave it up to the universe, we're kind of setting that intention like, I want to manifest $5,000 within the next week. And we keep checking our, mailbox for a check as though a check's just going to randomly show up out of nowhere where we may have had, you know, an email from a client waiting that wants to hire us for another project that we ignored because we didn't take action. And we may have had that little nudge like, oh, I should check my junk email. I haven't done that in a while and just not done it. And that little intuitive nudge that you were ignoring because you're told to just wait for it might have been the key to receiving that money that you desire. So, learning to trust your intuition, learning to recognize these nudges and act on them so you can take the aligned action and notice all of these opportunities around you is so, so important. And it lets this manifestation unfold naturally rather than forcing it to happen. And pillar six, reflection and integration. This is the part where we actually notice what it is that we've received. We reflect on what we have done, reflect on the aligned action we've taken, reflect on our goals to see that there's still an alignment for us, and really refine everything, refine our practices, tune into our intuition more. Notice where we may have had that nudge to do something that we ignored and really focus on this so you can reflect and refine and then move forward. And it's kind of like a cycle. You go through the whole process again and again every time you want to manifest something. And this integration part is when things actually come into fruition. When it's here, we know it's here, we celebrate it, we recognize it, we give it gratitude, and we also begin to believe more in our ability to manifest. And if something hasn't manifested yet, we get to reflect on why. And both of these are super, super important to keep the cycle of manifestation going. So, those are the six pillars of full spectrum manifestation and what we cover in aligned abundance. So now let's do a little mini activation. So, assuming it's safe for you still, I'm going to have you close your eyes for a moment. Take a sip of water. So, clearly, we are talking about money manifestation today. So, as you go ahead and close your eyes, just begin allowing your breath to slow down, focusing on the air coming into your lungs as you inhale and letting it go as you exhale, relaxing a bit more with each and every breath. And now, with the creative part of your mind, imagine in front of you is a version of you who has achieved your biggest money goal for the next 3 months. And as this version of you appears, notice one thing about yourself. How do you feel? Think of one word, maybe two. Perhaps it's confident, successful, empowered, happy, whatever it is for you. Safe, secure. You get to decide. And now, with this word in mind, notice that in front of you, on the ground or floor, is a circle about the size of a hula hoop, something large enough for you to stand inside. And you notice this circle it's like a column, has a invisible border stretching deep into the sky, high into the sky, deep into the earth. And as you focus your energy inside this circle, inside this column, allow it to fill with this feeling that you just decided on of how you feel when you reach your money goal. And allow the column to fill almost as though you're filling it with water, watching a vase fill up. And you keep projecting more and more of this feeling into this column, turning it all the way up to a 10 out of 10. And once it's at a 10, go ahead and step inside the circle and allow this feeling to fill you from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes, permeating your body. And notice what it feels like physically in your body to have this feeling. Like, what does physical confidence feel like? Safety, empowerment, success. Notice how you're holding your body. Notice the expression on your face. And allow yourself to experience this feeling filling up your body. And now, step back outside of the circle and allow yourself to come back to a nice, neutral feeling, neutral setting. And now, focusing your energy on this circle again, turn that volume up on that feeling a little bit more. Perhaps it even has a color or a temperature or a texture. And now, from this nice neutral feeling that you have outside the circle, again, step inside and allow this feeling to fill you up once more. And now step back outside the circle and allow the energy inside the circle to remain. But you notice now that you can actually fold up the circle as though it were a piece of paper, put it in your pocket, and bring it with you as you come back to the here and now, bringing yourself back to as neutral of a feeling as you desire right now. You can keep the feeling with you or you can come back to neutral. It's up to you. Just knowing that anytime you choose, you can imagine that circle in front of you, fill it with the emotion you desire, and step inside and allow it to fill your mind and your body. And now come back to the here and now and let me know in the chat what was the feeling that you had inside your circle. And as you do that, let's talk about what this exercise helps you realize. Now, it's very likely that you felt some sort of shift. Sometimes I almost feel like a tingling in my body as though it's seeping through me, filling me with the energy. And this sort of alignment just feels different because it's not just in our head and it's not just something we're saying. It's something we're internalizing into our body. And when we start doing that, our intuition responds very, very quickly and knows how to behave in alignment with this feeling. So, as you're doing this, you might have this idea or a feeling that has already given you new goals or slightly shifted a goal that you thought you had because your intuition is like, oh, that's what that feeling feels like, and this is what we need to do to get there. And your intuition starts giving you the information you need to make that happen. And that's what this full spectrum manifestation is all about. Now, what keeps people stuck from actually incorporating their manifestation practices? Number one, inconsistency. You start doing a manifestation practice, but then life gets in the way, or you get sick, or you get super busy, whatever it is, and you kind of let it slide. You put it off till tomorrow, or next week, or next month, and then all of a sudden your practice is gone, and you feel like you have to start all over again. The fact is, every action you've done in the past is still there. You don't ever have to start all over again. You might want to give yourself a little refresher, a little reminder, but you don't have to start all over again. That's a little mind trick our ego likes to play. Now, also, having misaligned goals when your goals don't feel right. So rather than readjusting your goals, you just forget about your practice. Like if you're trying to manifest, 30K months, but that doesn't feel in alignment for you, but someone told you that would be the best goal for you, but it doesn't feel in alignment. So you stop doing the practices rather than letting go, just realign the goal so it's right for you. And then we also have fragmented manifestation, which is when you're focusing only on one area of your life. Like I said, this is one of those things that happens a ton with people either focusing entirely on their business and money or entirely on relationships. I feel like very often it's the money and uh, career side of things that takes precedence because that's when people become workaholics. They start feeling like, oh, I have to work really, really hard and then I'll be able to enjoy it later, that kind of mentality. And the fact is, we get to manifest all of everything all at once, and also the lack of structure and support. So, when you start out in manifestation or you're starting to take bigger and bigger goals, having the structure and support can make all of the difference. Having someone to bounce ideas off of, someone to communicate, someone to keep you accountable is super, super important. And all of this becomes possible with full spectrum manifestation. Now, I'm just going to share some of my own goals from just the past 30 days as I was doing my program alongside the clients that I have in there now. So, first of all, my holiday bonus from work was more than double what it was last year because I really started focusing on how can I earn more money without doing more work. And all of a sudden, I got a bonus that was more than double without changing anything I did, without working more, without taking on any more responsibility, more than double. And I also had more clients in my 30-day New Year's program than I've had in any single program since September of 2020. And it all happened super easily. And the best thing about it is that it never felt like I was hustling or chasing. It felt like it was good and aligned and effortless. And yes, of course, I was taking aligned action. I wasn't just sitting here waiting for it to happen. I was taking the action that felt right for me. So it actually felt easy. Like it felt effortless. It wasn't effortless because, yes, I was doing stuff, but it felt easy. And even with this masterclass, literally, I had been planning to do a virtual retreat this week and felt that it was something that I had planned a long time ago. And all of a sudden, I had this really realization. I was like, I planned this over 6 months ago and I'm not that person anymore. And I need to, you know, teach people from where I am now, not where I was 6 months ago. So I ended up canceling the virtual retreat. And when I did that, all of a sudden I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a master class next Friday. And it was literally a week ago today that I decided to do this master class. And I've had more people sign up for this one than the previous like three master classes I've done, where I've done a lot more prep work, a lot more promotion, and I've had more people in this one because it was aligned and it felt right. And yeah, that's what real aligned manifestation and aligned action look like. But the best thing is, I'm not the only person that gets results from these. It also helps the clients. I have one client who said she was celebrating a great couple weeks at work with more appointments with clients than all of December, more connection with her husband, and excitement for healthier food choices and movement in her body. Another client said, I'm all in. My mindset has shifted into a way more positive attitude. Doing this for 30 days, along with what I was doing before, has solidified this into a routine that I will continue, which is so helpful because that consistency is so important. Thank you so much, Melissa. I appreciate you. And then this one is from one of my clients whose one of her biggest goals was to spend less time online. And she said, thank you, Melissa, for this wonderful adventure. I've been making huge steps forward, manifesting my new life. So I wasn't very active here being in the Facebook group because she was not on Facebook as much because that was her goal. So these are just some of the tiny, tiny little results that we've had through this program. As I mentioned before, I also have a client who just got engaged, which was one of her big goals. I've had clients find new homes, clients find new jobs. I manifest more money all the time, and that happens more and more and more the more consistently you do your manifestation practice. So, if you have any questions on anything that we have just covered, go ahead and put them in the chat now. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from today, it's this. If money has felt hard, inconsistent, or limited for you, it's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's because most manifestation work stops at the mindset or at the strategy. It never gets to that level, that deep subconscious level where real lasting change happens. That subconscious mind, your identity, your nervous system, and your ability to receive. And this is exactly why I created Aligned Abundance. So this is the new program. Let me drop it here for you. So, Aligned Abundance is a 3 month purpose driven money manifestation experience designed to help you become the version of you who naturally receives more money without hustle, force, or burning yourself out. While inside this program, we don't just talk about abundance as a theory, we actually begin embodying it. In this program, you will gain crystal clear clarity around your purpose and your money vision and how they work together. You will release subconscious resistance and worthiness blocks and receiving blocks. You will align your energy and nervous system with receiving. And you'll take inspired action towards your money goals without having to force the outcome. And finally, it will help you to feel safe letting in money, letting in opportunities, and allowing support to flow to you to achieve your desires. Now, what you get. First, you get the 3 months of this course of manifestation coaching and live group hypnosis with ongoing guidance, energetic support, and live hypnosis experience. So you stay embodied, supported, and aligned as real life money patterns begin to shift. You also get a 6 module online course that goes through the 6 pillars of full spectrum manifestation. And it's a structured curriculum that walks you through the clarity, alignment, and receiving step by step. So you create lasting money shifts with a solid money vision for yourself without feeling overwhelmed and unsure of what to focus on. You also get hypnosis audios and embodiment meditations, guided journal prompts, my 4 step limiting belief busting process, and a private Facebook community that is a supportive space to be seen, to reflect, and to be encouraged throughout this 3 month journey. And that's also you don't fall back into those old patterns and to help you stay consistent and accountable. And Here's the important thing. Transformation doesn't happen in isolation. It happens with support, reflection, and regulation. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the share now. And speaker. So this program is for you if you know that this is something that matters. If your work, your business, whatever it is you're doing in life matters, but you're tired of feeling like you have to constantly push or prove yourself and you're ready for money to feel natural, like a natural response to how you are and how you feel. Aligned Abundance is this program. This is what is going to change everything for you because it's not about chasing. It's about becoming the version of you who receives. So if something in your body or in your mind or in your intuition is telling you this is the next step, that's your intuition. Trust it. I would love to support you inside Aligned Abundance. And again, that link is in the chat and I will share it in the email with the replay as well. So I would love to support you. If you have any questions on the program, please feel free to reach out to me, either DM me on Facebook or email me. And trust what you're feeling. You don't need to force this. Enrollment is open now, and we begin in the middle of February, around the 17th. So if you're ready to stop chasing money and circling around those same money patterns and start embodying a new reality, this is your invitation to do that. So go ahead, read more about the program on the website, and it also includes some bonuses because this is the premiere edition. So go check those out, and I will talk to you guys all soon. Have a great day.